And welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. So is Donald Trump accelerating the fall of the American empire? Now, for those of you that don't realize it, yes, America is an empire. We have all the same attributes as an empire. Now, we remember the Dutch and the British, now America. And just like any empire, it has its peak and then it declines. America is now in that decline. And that's exactly why Donald Trump was elected. People sense its decline. And they elected somebody who told them he can fix it all. He can make America great again. Now, of course, this is not true. And we're obviously seeing that he's doing a lot of damage, a lot of chaotic and delusional moves to assert American dominance in the world again. And bullying techniques don't work for long. Now, eventually, the world will turn against us, as they are already. Now, I found a gentleman, Truth Speaks, or Truth is Speaking, and I am going to quote something he wrote. And I wanted to give him credit for it. It's brilliant. It says, Trump isn't saving America. He's accelerating its collapse. His America First foreign policy is not restoring U.S. power, but isolating it, weakening alliances, and dismantling the global system that kept America dominant for decades. From cutting military aid to Ukraine, launching trade wars, and threatening NATO, Trump is making the exact mistakes that cause empires to fall. But here's the truth. The era of American empire is over. Whether Trump admits it or not, the U.S. can no longer dominate the world the way it once did, and clinging to outdated imperial fantasies will only hasten its decline. Brilliant. And this is true. I mean, what has he done recently? He's threatened Canada, tried to force Denmark to sell Greenland. He did it again. Wants to occupy Gaza and turn it into resorts. He wants more control over Panama. He's attacked Mexico. He's attacked our European allies while making friends with Vladimir Putin of Russia, who invaded Ukraine. Interesting, isn't it? This isn't a guy confident in what he's doing. This is a guy wailing and throwing as much crap against the wall as he can to try to get something done, to try to make it all work out, to force it to his will. Now, the problem is most of the world has been set up a certain way since the end of World War II. So what has Donald Trump done to make America great again? Well, what he has done is he created an agenda based on the fact that America has been too generous to foreign countries. And they are now stepping on us. They don't give us any respect. Canada, Mexico, Ukraine, Zelensky, the European Union, all the European countries, NATO, they show no respect and are walking over us. We're getting ripped off. In fact, he said, we're getting ripped off and now we have to take back what's ours. Now, right off the bat, I know a lot of people that have watched this and those that have commented, and I had some strange comments. And just for a sidebar here, I've got some really odd comments that I don't even respond to because it's obvious the people who wrote these comments were very uninformed. They have no clue of the metrics, the data, the history. They're just coming off of the Donald Trump narrative. So if that's what you're doing, or the right-wing narrative, or the Christian right-wing narrative, if that's your ideology and that's your set, I'm not going to bother because I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm giving you the truth, solid truth, historical truth, backed by metrics. That's the way it works. I'm not going to be in la-la land and be fooled by a grifter, which is exactly what our president is. So he thinks, that's Donald Trump, that we're being set up by other countries and taken advantage of. But here's the problem. He doesn't know history. And for those of you that don't get it, he doesn't read anything. He knows very little about history. I know he's told you he plays 67-dimensional chess. He's ahead of everybody. And most of us poor people that are talking against him, we just don't have an understanding of his genius and intellect. This is funny because it's obviously known by people who know him that he's not the brightest bulb on the Vegas Strip. And that's just the way it is. You can believe what you want and think he's making America great again. Meanwhile, there's no evidence of it. Prices are going up. People are starting to hate us. Canada, now has made us public enemy number one, Canada, our neighbor. How is that possible? Well, they're taking advantage of us. No, they're not. See, it's not just economic or military power, but soft power that has kept America on top for decades. See, for America to keep the world going as it is, we spend money. We spend a lot of money. Now, here's the problem with that. People don't understand how much money we spend. There was a poll taken, and it's about USAID. Now, I hear this, and I've seen comments, and people get so excited that Elon Musk has found this much money and that much money, and these are drops in the bucket, of course, but to Americans, they think, well, I'm going to get some of that money somehow because Trump promised to make me rich. Well, okay, again, that's delusional, but I digress. But USAID, they said, how much do you believe, and this is a poll, USAID gets in federal money? And many people, the large majority of the people in the poll said 25%. What would you like it to be, was the second question. 10%. Okay. Again, the intelligence of the American political genius. Guess what? USAID is about 1 to 1.2% of the budget. And although there probably is some corruption in it, guess what USAID does? Feeds hungry people, gives water to people who don't have it. I mean, this is what we do throughout Africa. We've saved millions of lives. Americans have, through their money that goes to USAID, has saved millions of lives. But now we're not going to bother. We're just going to let it all go. That also, keep in mind, that USAID also was part of America's soft power. It helped people understand that America cares, even though we really don't. I mean, I do. But the American government really didn't care. Each president played their part in this game, making the world feel that we cared by helping, by sending aid, by being there for them, okay? Except Donald Trump. He went from caring to just flat-out villainy. And now what people see the United States as is a villain, evil nation. Yes, they do. So how does this work? See, after 1945, America wanted to control the world order, because we did, because of many factors, and I've talked about that. We helped win the war. We didn't win the war, we helped win the war. And we were the last man standing that had a solid currency. We weren't broke, we weren't bankrupt like most of Europe, and our country was pretty much unscathed, minus Hawaii. So we became that world power, and we built a network of institutions to help control the world. Because you see, even though America was powerful, the world's too big, too complex, too many types of nations to try to control it militarily. So we built systems and institutions. The IMF, the World Bank, the United Nations, NATO, the World Health Organization, all of which Trump is now pulling us out of. Because you see, they're stealing from us. But the system was built because the countries in the world had to play by our rules. That's how the system was built. But for that to happen, we had to build institutions to help us do that. The IMF funds countries that are broke, that are having issues financially. You know, NATO was there to protect Europe from any threats from, at that time, the Soviet Union. And now, in a bigger scheme of things, China. Also, the World Health Organization was there to help other countries who were fighting illnesses, diseases. These are things that we put into place. The United Nations, the United States put that in place. Everybody hates it. But we are the primary founder of the United Nations. NATO, United Nations, the World Health Organization, the World Bank, the IMF, these are institutions needed for the world to continue as it is, to continue in an organized fashion. That's what all this is about. America spends money. It does. But somehow these things now have been villainized. We're abandoning all these institutions. And instead of using persuasion, cooperation, and a handout, we're using the fist to get people to do what we want. That's Donald Trump's MO. It's always been his MO. So while Trump was trying to make America great again by villainizing every country in the world who were our allies and friends, he also did that here in the United States. If you are part of the transgender movement or homosexual, if you were brown or gray or green or crippled, if you have anything that's different from him and he doesn't like, you're the enemy. And he made sure everybody else joined on his bandwagon. He made sure he villainized everybody in this country that wasn't like him, a rich white guy. Well, unfortunately, people fell for it. Even people who weren't rich white people fell for it. They believed him. He was going to make America great again by purging everything that he didn't like, everything that was evil. We're going to make America great again by making everybody in this country an enemy that doesn't fit his mold, doesn't fit the right-wing Christian nationalist mold. That's right. That's the problem there too. And I've talked about that. So listen, if you think Donald Trump's plan to make America great again is working, you're missing the point, because it's not. It's very obvious that it isn't. Things are going to deteriorate. People are protesting across this nation. Town hall meetings that were based in Republican districts are fighting back, are going after their representatives. Why? Because more and more people are realizing that we're not making America great again. We're making ourselves a pariah to other nations in the world. We're making ourselves the villain. A country that was once built on freedom and protection for minorities, for those that were different, for immigrants, is now a pariah, is now a rogue state. And that's what people will see. And that's what the world is going to see as we move forward. No, you can't make America great again by fear, by bullying, by threats. You make America great again by reaching your hand out. And as a Christian, that's what Jesus told me to do. That's why I really don't care how many illegal immigrants are here. Illegal. That's why I don't care about half these things people worry about. I don't care how much USAID is given. I don't care, because even if a portion of it helps somebody, I'm behind it. And that's what Jesus really wants us to do as Christians, is to reach out and help. We can't solve every problem. This country will never be perfect, but the system in place works. If you want to repair it, let's repair it. But burning it down is not going to do anybody any good. And as we move forward, we're going to see how well this Make America Great Again really works. And I get a very, very, very bad feeling about it. It's all the time I have today. I want to again announce we have another channel. It's called Nights Around the Fire. That's right. It's about mysteries, legends, and myths. If you like those types of things, go to it. I'm placing a link in our description box. Other than that, please like, subscribe, and share to this video. And as always, God bless you. And I'll see you next time right here on The David Tomsic Show.